Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing something a little different. We're going to be putting in a Phanteks vertical GPU kit to go along with my RTX 3060. The GPU mount can be had by most major retailers, but I got mine on Newegg for around $30. The other thing you'll want to get a hold of is a PCIe 4.0 riser cable, as the Phanteks GPU mount doesn't come with 4.0 version. So let's get into it. The first thing you're going to want to do is take the supplied riser cable, and you're going to want to throw that shit in the trash. You're never going to use it, and it's not 4.0. Grab your mounting screws and unbox one or two of them. You'll use these to connect your good riser cable to the bottom of the vertical mount. Now, at this point, you're going to want to start over because you realize the camera isn't looking in the right spot, and these gloves fucking suck. They make it really hard to grip anything, not to mention, they're kind of fucking pointless. And the only reason you wore them was so that people wouldn't make fun of you on your YouTube channel. Now, at this point, you're going to want to fumble around with the riser cable base for about 5 to 10 minutes, trying to get it in the spot where you really need it to be, realizing that no matter how much you loosen the screw, it's not going to move over because the screw is wider than the holes are for the seating. Now that we've realized the screws are actually threading into the mounting base, we're going to start over for the third time, because as everyone knows, third time's the charm. This time, you want to start at the back. You want to secure the back into place, and then work with what you can in the front. Now that we've got our bracket set up, we can begin the teardown process. We'll start by disconnecting the 8-pin power supply, unlatching the PCIe socket, and slowly removing the screws. Make sure to relieve a little bit of tension as you disconnect your screws. Now at this point, when you go to remove your GPU, make sure you rip that shit out and slam it into your AIO as hard as possible. We'll start with the rest of the teardown by removing the flanges covering up the rest of the GPU sockets. By now you'll have realized that the screw on the bottom is stripped, and you'll need a bigger screwdriver. With these pieces out of the way, we can move on to the rest of the process. Now we can begin fitting the bracket to the chassis. At this point, make sure you release the riser cable and let it hit the motherboard as hard as possible. By now, everything should feel just a little messed up. It's a little wobbly, it doesn't fit quite right, but you know what? Fuck it. We're gonna go ahead and connect it up anyways. Now it's time to get our GPU mounted. At this point in the build, you realize that you didn't plan for this in any way, nor did you take any measurements before you started. By now you'll realize that your clearance issue is multifaceted. Not only did you not plan for this or measure in any way possible, you realize that you're going to have to take most of the stuff out of your case before you can move forward. Pro tip, during this process, make sure to drop all of your fan screws into the power supply well underneath your chassis. At this point of the build, you're going to start to realize that the GPU bracket is mounted too high, that the original mounting bracket for the GPU is making contact with the top of the case. Now you have to start all over and lower it down to the bottom set of holes. By now you're going to realize that the original horizontal brackets associated with the case are going to prevent you from making any video connections to your card, so we're going to need to remove them with some light case modification. At this point, make sure that every little bar comes flying off and hits the motherboard as hard as possible. Now that we've precision engineered our case, we can begin refitting the GPU bracket. At this point, we're going to do what's called a pro gamer move and learn from our mistakes the first time. We'll reassemble the GPU onto the GPU bracket before trying to put it into the case. Now that you've been fumbling around with sweaty gloves for about 20 minutes, go ahead and take that shit off. Remember that gloves are cringe-pilled, and you are a pog daddy. At this point of the build, you're going to realize that you can't connect the PCIe riser cable to the PCIe slot, and that you didn't pull a pro gamer move at all. Now, you're fucking stupid, and you have to deal with the consequences. So go ahead and take about 5 to 10 minutes to fumble around with your card, trying to plug it into the slot. Make sure that you bang the card around to the inside of your case as hard as possible. Now accept the fact that you're fucking stupid and start over again. With that out of the way, you can now begin to put the rest of your case back together so you can enjoy your new vertical GPU mount. Make sure you struggle to plug in your fan pins to the new spot on your board, since the GPU is all up in the way. Now with all the unpleasantries out of the way, take a step back and enjoy your new vertical mount. It eliminated the sagging of the card, and in my opinion, doesn't look half bad inside the case. No doubt all your friends are going to talk shit about the clearances, but remember, it's not stupid if it works. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll catch you next time with another custom case mod.